Hello, everyone. I already see so many of you hopping on. Welcome to our broadcast. We're going to get started in a little over 6 minutes. I see a lot of new names and faces on. So, if this is your first broadcast, a very special welcome to you. We are so excited to have you here, and we can't wait to share this information with you today. Hello again, everyone. I see quite a few of you hopping on. Some of you are viewing on the live stream page. Just a reminder, we do recommend hopping over to YouTube. YouTube does the best viewability and the most interactive ability over there. So if you have a chance right now, head on over to YouTube. Otherwise, stay tuned because we have a lot to share with you today. Well, officially, welcome everyone to our broadcast today. Now, today is Mastering Your Service Portfolio Part 2. And I do want to remind everyone, if you're on the live stream page, please head on over to YouTube if you have not already. It just has a lot more interactive ability. It's definitely got the best viewing, watching it in real time. You can see other people's questions as well, even the ones that we answer out loud and the ones that we answer there within the chat. So head on over to YouTube so you don't miss any of those pieces. And one of the main reasons we want to make sure you are following us on all of these platforms, such as YouTube and Facebook, is because we do a kit giveaway for people who are interactive throughout the broadcast events. So be sure that you have liked us on Facebook, subscribed to our YouTube, and that you are active right now in the comment section, asking questions throughout the event, giving feedback, anything you want to put in there throughout it. It's important to us and it gets you entered in that giveaway. Now, I mentioned today is part 2 of mastering your service portfolio and unlocking your full earning potential. Now, I know there's a lot to that, and part 1 was fantastic, had amazing responses. So, to get us started for part 2, I'd like to hand things off for a little bit of information from Ryan Maddock.
Welcome to our second installment of Mastering Your Service Portfolio. Remember, this isn't about being an expert in your services. What we're talking about is having some core competences in things like what the programs are, what types of clients are a good fit, what types of clients pay the highest commissions, and again, why the next 6 months are crucial to building a strong residual income for your future. Now, in the first installment, we talked about the tax management system and the work opportunity tax credit. Today, we're excited to move into cost segregation and the R&D tax credit. Cost segregation is a program for businesses that own or renovate their commercial property, while the R&D tax credit is a payroll credit for companies like manufacturers, software companies, startups, as well as many other types of companies. Now, we've offered both of these services for over 20 years, and I'm excited to tell you that they yield some of our highest advisor commissions. Now, just like in the first installment, we'll start by teaching you a little about the service, and then we'll teach you the most effective way to build a base of clients using these services. So let's dive in.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And I just want to say, I hope everyone's having an amazing summer. We've seen amazing influx in activity and everything as we expected, as we said we would in June. And here we are in August, just, I guess, living the best life of the summertime, right, Ryan?
Absolutely. I think some people might think now's the time to take off, but believe it or not, Kendra, we've got tax deadlines coming up. I mean, some of the first tax deadlines are August 15th or just after. And so, businesses are thinking about that. And one of the biggest services impacted by fall deadlines is the R&D tax credit. Now, Kendra, we're going to teach for about 15 minutes on the R&D tax credit, but I'm putting you on the spot here. Why are so many businesses, you think, well, taxes are due in April. Why is R&D so impactful? And this part of the year, August 15th through October 30th, is so huge for us.
Right. Most of our clients extend. And so their true tax day, in my mind, ends up being in August and September, depending on how they're structured as an organization. And the R&D tax credit has a huge impact on their tax liability for a lot of our customer base, which you're going to learn about. I don't want to give too much away. It's coming up. It has a huge impact. And so our clients, even the ones that we just started working with, are able to utilize and offset a lot of tax liability that they're going to have this year. And that's what we're here for. Not only that, I don't want to give too much away. Anyway, it's huge.
So I will give one other thing away. So part of what you're going to see in there is this thing where we do 3 years back study plus current year. Now, current year right now, it's 2023, right? But it's not until either September 15th or October 15th for most manufacturers. It is 2022 tax year. Yes. Reason why they have not closed it yet, Kendra, which means we can go back 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019 plus 2023. Okay. So right now, for the short window between now and about the middle of October, we can do upwards of 5 years for a client. In other words, when you run the calculator and you see that benefit for 1 year, we can do 5 times that. So kind of a crucial time to be out there right now for R&D.
And please don't dismiss the credit because you're assuming that you know what it is. It
Yeah.
is probably the most misconceived tax credit out there because originally when it started, the mentality of what research and development was one thing, and it's changed. It's evolved over the years, and it has opened up the aspect of how many clients qualify for it. It's just huge now. It used to be very singularly focused. You had to be really in a specific target area, market, and the work that you're doing. Not anymore. So pay attention as we move through this training, because I think you're going to be surprised at how many of your clients are actually going to qualify for this credit and how large it can be. Let's go ahead and take a look at it right now. In this installment of Master Your Service Portfolio, we're going to be discussing the Research and Development Tax Credit, or the R&D tax credit. Let's get started.
This one is my favorite tax incentive.
I think they're all your favorite, right?
I know. I think the joke's going to get old, but that's okay. But I will tell you what is favorite about it. Lifetime annual residual. If that wasn't enough, it should be. But lifetime annual residual is great. I've got clients that have been with me on this service for the better part of 20 years, and they just renew every single year. I also love, in most cases, it's a physical check from the IRS, and clients seem to really dig that.
Makes a huge impact.
Yeah, it's a great way to build CPA relationships. And like a lot of things, it leads to all the other services. So, that's kind of the R&D tax credit, understanding that it is part of our tax management system, like everything that we do. This service, once you get them into, we're going to not only look at R&D, but we're going to look at everything that we do. But Kendra, let's get started by talking about the most poorly named tax credit. Why is it called R&D?
That's my only frustration with the R&D tax credit is its name doesn't really imply what it's able to do or what it is for our client base. So the R&D tax credit, it's been around forever. I think since 81, it's permanent at this point. It is a federal incentive. It allows companies to reduce their income tax liability and receive a cash refund if they're eligible for taxes paid in the previous 3 years or in that current year. It is literally a dollar for dollar tax credit. So, I mean, if their R&D benefit is $555,000, they're going to get $555,000 either off their liability or back in the form of a check from the IRS.
Yeah. And the big question people want to know is, why would I qualify for something called the R&D tax credit? And so we're going to talk about that a little bit on what makes someone qualified for R&D. Excuse me.
Be open-minded when we're discussing this. Do not be clouded by the image of white lab coats or, very stringent protocols. Basically, it's going to be any company that engages in development or improving their products, processes, techniques, software inventions. And it does require some level of technical work, but doesn't any job anymore? We've moved into that. And the IRS basically wraps it around this word called qualified research expenditures.
Yeah.
That's what they pull the dollar
Even
amount
that
out
sounds so technical and daunting.
It really does, doesn't it?
If you ask the client, do you have any qualified research expenditures? I would say no. But the funny thing is, when we look at what a QRE is, these are things that virtually every company does, manufacturing, fabrication, engineering. Believe it or not, we take the R&D tax credit and have for years because of some things further on the list: testing, quality assurance, software development, automation and streamlining processes. And so you look at what makes someone qualify. We qualify, and we're not a manufacturer. We're not a lab coat company. So that's a little definition of qualified research expenditures. Kendra, we could easily say all manufacturing companies and all software companies, but there's a sweet spot, and we always want to teach you the sweet spot so that you can understand who to really go after.
Right. So what we're looking at when we're talking about our best clients, obviously, Ryan, manufacturing, but fabrication, software development, engineering, even architectural firms, food and beverage, farming and agriculture. Like, I would say that's the top 7 right there.
Yeah. And really what you're looking at employers that have employees that perform technical or manufacturing tasks. And again, that's almost everybody these days. And we can go out there, we can work with these companies. Now, I think it's going to be no surprise to people that, Kendra, this is something that has broad appeal throughout the country.
It does. And it's interesting to note that in the United States, manufacturing, seems like there's these like hotbeds of manufacturing. Obviously, here in Michigan, we have the automobile industry. But when you look at it overall, our entire country, each state has a very specific area of manufacturing that they kind of embrace and belongs to them, if you will. And the reason I wanted to include this part in our training today is for you to understand in your area, that list that's flying past there on your screen is each state. And there's tens of thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of manufacturing in every state in the United States. So no matter where you're at, there are clients right in your doorstep that can benefit from this tax
You
credit.
could go out there and build your entire practice with this one service. In fact, it is how I built our practice originally, is I would go out there. We had a few account managers locally, and we would go out there and I would say, "Hi, I'm Ryan. I work with manufacturers here in Southeast Michigan." That was my pitch. I help find local, state, and federal tax incentives, and I wanted to set up a time to speak with you. And that was my pitch. That's what I went out there. I went out to the local economic development authorities. I went out to the local chambers. I went out to the manufacturing associations, and I said, "Hi, I'm Ryan. I help manufacturers in Southeast Michigan find local, state, and federal tax incentives." Now, the funny thing is, Kendra, I sadly have not managed my own book in 10 years. And I'll say, if I was a partner, if I was an advisor, I would have 6 figures in commission just as an advisor off of the people I signed up 10 years ago. It's just the nature of how it works. And it is a service that you can go out there, you can put some elbow grease into, and you can make long-term money on this. The way to do that, surprise, surprise, right? You got to talk about it. We keep saying the same thing. Kendra and the team have drafted these beautiful HTML emails to help you have the dialogue. We have Lead Feed that helps you go find manufacturers in your area. You've got social templates. Kendra, there's a dedicated landing page just for manufacturers.
Right. We give you so many tools, and each and every one of them are going to lead back to one of these pages, one of these landing pages, such as the one that you see on your screen right now, where we're going to pull them in, we're going to gather some information from them, and we're going to be able to give them this summary of benefit that they would qualify for.
And then they'll have the opportunity to become a client of the tax management system. So you're seeing a pattern here. It all leads the same way. But Kendra, now I think let's take a look at what happens, what the magic is behind the scenes of once they become a client. Now, in some of the other segments, we talk about how we use location data. And so I'm not going to touch on that right now. But what I do want you to focus in on is how, for the R&D tax credit, do we use this employer data or this employee data to generate this tax credit?
Again, they're in the system, they're utilizing that tax management system, and we're gathering information on a daily basis from them about their employees when they're in there using the system. Yeah. And what you want to do the comparison first, though, I think, Ryan.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. So for the vast majority of companies, when they come in and they're doing this, what they're going to do is they're not going to take the R&D tax credit at all. It's such a shame. Okay, you've got 200 employees here, and this employer is just going to make no money on it. And then occasionally, and I mean occasionally, you'll go out there and you'll talk to someone and you'll say, "I want to talk to you about the R&D tax credit. It's part of what our tax management system does." And they'll say, "Oh, we take that." And generally what I'll find there is that the CPA has taken maybe 2 or 3 employees, and they say, well, they because they worked on this special project or because they're in this department or whatever the case is, we're going to take their payroll. Yeah, we're going to take just their payroll and we're going to say half of it. I see this all the time. We're going to take these 3 employees. We're going to take half of their payroll. We're going to call that R&D. We're going to multiply that by the tax credit amount, and which is 6.5%. And we're going to generate this whopping $7,000 tax incentive. Now, I want to tell you, one time I went into this aerospace company here in Michigan, and I was talking to the CFO. I said, do you take the R&D tax credit? And we went, yes, we already take that kind of thing. And I said, okay, would you mind checking? He was very knowledgeable. I could tell he was confident he could take it. Show me how much you got last year. And he went to his tax return and he said, we got $3,400. Okay. Let me tell you that we went on to get that client over $7 million. And so you cannot walk away because someone says, yes, we take the R&D tax credit. You say, well, listen, you need to be in our tax management system because it's going to look at every single employee. So I'm going to show you how our system does it differently than anyone else. Okay. So we have 200 employees. We're going to use what's called an engineered approach. And Kendra, we're going to take all of this data that we already know. Right. How do we know it?
And this is what I was jumping a little early, but we're going to get this information because they're in and they're using the tax management system. So we're going to know the type of work that those employees are performing, number of new hires, number of employees, all of these different things. And they're all going to factor in to calculations for the R&D tax credit in their normal course of business.
Yeah. And we're going to take that data and I want to show you, we're going to look at this at a granular level. This is Fred. Fred works in the administrative department. I can't think that anybody would ever assume Fred would qualify, but because they're using our system, we know how long Fred's been there. We know how much Fred makes. We know what type of work he does through some interviewing process that our system does for R&D. We know what kind of projects he's working on. So what we can do is we can say, okay, Fred makes $57,000 a year. And we can say, based on that QRE list, 11% of his activities qualify as qualified research expenditures. That means $6,200 of Fred's payroll qualifies for a tax credit. Okay. Now, Kendra, I think most companies, especially a big four accounting firm, they wouldn't bother with Fred. In fact, they wouldn't bother with this company at all because it's too small for them.
They want to pump out large, quick. They can just look at it and wipe it clean. But we're out there for our small to mid-sized businesses. This is our ideal client because we can get them a great impact on their.
And most companies would say, well, you got $6,200 worth of payroll, and then you're going to get 6.5% of that. That's like nothing. Why would you even bother doing the paperwork to get a few $100? Well, let me show you why. Because then we're going to move on to the next employee that's a designer. And we're going to say, okay, his annual payroll's 49%, 64% of his work qualifies. That's $31,000 in qualified payroll. And Kendra, when we look at this over the course of the whole of the company and we compare it against all of these, and we say, how many of them do manufacturing? How many of them do fabrication? How many of them do engineering? How many of them meet the IRS under new product and process development? And we go through this entire QRE checklist, which, by the way, changes every single year. It expands all the time.
You pointed that out.
Yeah. And so, we're looking at every person that works in that company, every department.
Every employee across the board is going to be looked at and analyzed against that list of QREs. And we're going to be able to pull out every single penny in payroll that was allocated to the type of work that the IRS says we can do. And by doing this, we're able to bring the biggest benefit to our client.
Now, why would we go look for change in the cushions for our clients? I would love to say it's because we're just good people or anything else, but really at the end of the day, we're on the take. Okay. Do you get that? We're on a percentage. That big four accounting firm, they're getting paid for hourly labor and all they're thinking about is how much they're going to be able to bill for a couple of forms. There's not the care that's there for us. We're on a percentage. Okay. So we're going digging in the couch cushions for every single bit of change that's there. And this is what it looks like on a $4.3 million payroll for this company. One that most companies said, I don't bother with. We might find that 23% of their overall people, by adding them up, or 23% of their payroll qualifies. That means we found $989,000 worth of qualifying payroll, not a credit. We got $989,000 of qualifying payroll. We get to multiply that by 6.5%,
which is the tax credit. So that's $64,000. That's pretty good, especially when you compare that to the $7,000 or the $0 that maybe they were going to get. But it doesn't stop there, because that's just last year. That's 1 year's worth. We're allowed to go back last year plus the last 3 years before that in most cases. So that's 4 years that we're going to go do, and we're going to apply these applications to, and we're going to apply this and get a dollar amount. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do this year as well. Okay, so for this one small 200 manufacturing person client, we got $328,000. I want to focus on this for a second. Maybe that seems like a lot to you. Maybe it doesn't. But I want to put something in perspective, Kendra. In order for a business owner to walk away with a net check of $328,000, let's walk through, let's backwards what that would take to do. I would suggest they might need to increase gross revenue by $4 or $5 million to do that. Okay. If they went and got a new $5 million contract with a top tier provider, well, first of all, they're probably going to have to go add 2 or 3 million in payroll to meet that contract. Maybe they need to build a new building on top of that. So they've got hard cost. They've got material cost. Okay. Maybe if they're lucky on that 5 million, I mean, if they're really, really good at this, maybe they're making $700,000 or $800,000 in revenue after directly related expenses. But then they're going to give half of that $700,000 to Uncle Sam. Okay. By the time they're paying their 35% and everything else. Okay. This is why I'm saying, and I hope you can see this, with us, we're talking about the client walking away with $328,000 that in many cases is a physical check from the IRS. And especially if they're an S Corp, an LLC, that kind of thing, that's for the owner. That's net profit. So you might look at this and say, what's a big manufacturing company? What do they care about $300,000 for? Absolutely. This is $5 million in gross revenue for that company or that owner to walk away with a check for $328,000. Now, one of the questions that people sometimes want to know is, what do they do with the money? Here's the answer. Anything they want. It's their money. So there's no guidelines. They don't have to put it back into the company. It's not like PPP where you got to spend it on something specific. This is their money. Pay off their house with it. Buy a new boat. Go on a vacation. Build another building. Hire some more jobs. Whatever the case is of what you want to do, it doesn't matter. But look what you got this client. And then Kendra will kind of dive in a minute here and say, okay, what's in it for the client and then what's in it for our partnerships?
To recap, it's a dollar for dollar tax reduction on the current year's tax liability, and they get significant cash back from the previous 3 years, which would be in the form of a check. Unused credits can be carried forward and back forward up to 20 years, back 1 year. So you don't lose it. You get to use it. And then let's take a look at real quick a couple case studies, I believe.
I think this is what everybody really wants to know is, what do I make?
So take a look at 3 real quick. This first one's a plastic manufacturer. Their benefit was $570,000. From another standard manufacturer, $600,000. Food processing, 1.1 million. And that plastic manufacturer, the commission was just under 8,000. And remember, this is 1 year. This isn't everything total. This was 1 year for these guys. The other manufacturer, 8,400. And the food processing was about 15,400. So that's pretty significant commission rates right there.
Yeah. So it's a great way in the door. You're putting cash flow in your client's pocket. You're putting cash in your pocket. It's going to lead to a ton of other services, and your client's never going anywhere. So that is why we love the R&D tax credit, why it's such an important part of your service portfolio.
What a great rundown of the R&D tax credit.
Love
you guys
R&D.
Great understanding of what it is, and you should be hyped about it as well. I see a lot of questions coming in. Remember, right now we're talking about mastering your services. We are going to get to mastering getting those clients in just a few minutes. So bear with us, because there is one more service that we need to conquer, and that's going to be cost segregation. I honestly, my favorite service that we offer hands
This is
down.
like your baby. You
Yeah.
know, when you first started with the company well over a decade ago, this was the department you actually started in. Like R&D, we're under some crucial deadlines right now for the same exact reasons. If you got a hotel owner, likely they filed an extension, so their taxes are due in September or October. And so right now is a time where they can step in, they can do this tax credit, they can get that benefit. Even it's always instantaneous, but
Yeah.
they can put it to use in a much greater way.
I think the
And
impact
so,
is felt deeper at this time of year. Whether that's perception or actuality, I don't know, but I think it's felt deeper on the behalf of the clients. And make my engineering department busy, you guys. They're expecting it. They're waiting for it. They've got time logged to work overtime.
yeah.
This time of year is crazy for cost segregation.
So I think we're ready, Kendra. Let's take a look
let's go
at
ahead
cost
and take a look.
segregation.
On this installment of Master Your Service Portfolio, we're going to be discussing cost segregation. Let's get started.
Cost segregation is my favorite service, or at least let me tell you what I like about it. I think a joke's getting old. I'll switch up to a new one after the next service. So what I like about cost seg is that it's upfront large commissions for starters. There's no other service where you can get paid as quickly as you can with cost seg. And part of that is because the benefit's so instantaneous, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So you're going to get paid quickly. You're going to get paid up front. Client gets paid up front. But the other thing is, Kendra, the types of people that tend to own their own buildings and qualify are going to qualify over and over and over again. So you get the repeat business factor as well.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's actually my favorite.
I think I believe you on that one.
Cost seg is my favorite.
Cost seg's kind of your baby. So now cost seg, like everything else, is part of the tax management system. Okay. So it's not a standalone. All of our services are the same in the aspect that we're going to go in and we're going to focus in on a service with a client, but then ultimately we're going to lead them into everything else we do. But Kendra, I mean, cost seg, for maybe some people watching this, they have no idea what it is. They don't know. In fact, I call it cost seg, and you have cost segregation. That's just some industry jargon
segregation or a cost segregation report. And basically what it is it's a powerful tax planning strategy that most commercial property owners or people that have done significant improvements, renovations to even leased commercial property should be taking advantage of. It accelerates their depreciation in a proper way, which allows them to take significant tax deferrals, increasing the cash flow for the business. Basically, like down dirty, like quick. It's a tax incentive for every commercial property owner.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at like properties individually, you can say that as long as it was purchased, built, or renovated in the past 20 years, has a cost of more than $250,000 or more, and they've paid federal taxes in the last 3 years, it's a great candidate.
Yeah. What makes someone, I guess, qualify? And again, we could go as simple as owns their own building, but like always, there's some clients that are better than others because they're going to bigger benefit for the client means bigger benefit for our partners. So what are some examples of some of our best clients that we're looking for?
Well, for cost seg, there is a top list. And I would say that would be apartment complexes, assisted living facilities, auto dealerships, hotels, manufacturers, medical offices, and one that I love is property management.
Yeah. I think what you see, I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet of what all those have in common. You're talking about the types of businesses that tend to either own their own space or renovate the space that they operate in. So, when you mention car dealerships, they tend to own their own buildings. They tend to be doing renovations every couple of years to keep up with that branding. Hotels, I mean, they own their own buildings. They're always buying new ones, and they tend to have to renovate to keep up. Restaurants, sometimes they don't own their own buildings. It might be at a strip mall or something like that. But even then, they put hundreds of thousands into renovating the space. So again, businesses, think about businesses that tend to own their own building or they do their own leasehold improvement. Now, everything we do, you're going to go out there and it all starts with a conversation. So Kendra and the team have great social media assets. that, go out there and target commercial property owners and hotels and restaurants and things like that. Or you're going to use her great email templates, or you can use the verbal scripts, whatever the case is. Kendra,
any of the tools.
They're going to get you to a landing page. And this is really where it happens, is where we're able to qualify the client.
And what I love is the next step on this qualification, Ryan. We actually show them this summary of the benefit that we can bring to them. It impresses on them this dollar amount that we can bring to the table for them. And their very next step is obviously then to turn into a client.
Yeah. Once they become a client in the tax management system, you've likely seen this if you've been through any other service trainings, is they're going to go in, they're going to start a setup wizard. And one of the first things we're going to do is say, where do you operate out of? We need to know this for all of the tax incentives. But Kendra, there's a few bits of data that you're asking for.
Yep. So they're in that system. They're using TMS. We're going to ask them some questions about their facility, the number of employees that are there, where the work's performed, if they own it, if they've done renovations, and annual property taxes. And these are asked in very simple, basic questions as a part of their onboarding for that system, or even if they add a new location later. So a part of their standard business, and we're able to gather that information for the tax credit.
Yeah. And now the exciting part is, in the background, by knowing that information, we're able to search the different programs that someone qualifies for. And then we're able to generate this report for them where they can see exactly what that property would qualify for in a federal tax incentive. And then from there, they don't have to have a call. They don't have to meet with anyone. They don't have to review anything. Here's the crazy part. Right from our system, it could be 2:00 in the morning, and it happens all the time on the weekend and things like that. We see it. Someone goes in and they claim their benefit, okay? Because they see it in there. We show them in the system. We say, hey, we found you, $300,000 or whatever the case is. And we found it for all these properties. And they can say, I want to do this property. I want to do that property. They just claim their benefit. Now, because their benefit is instantaneous, here's some other things. I'll talk about how it's instantaneous in a moment. But the client actually just pays us right then. It's a really simple value proposition where we say, hey, we found you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's going to be, maybe $6,000 or $8,000 or whatever the case is for you to claim this benefit. Click here to enter your credit card number. And I'll tell you what.
I want to say, Ryan, this happens every single day. And I know sometimes if you're a newer, you're just getting to know us and your service portfolio, you may wonder or question that.
Would a client do that?
Don't question that. Trust the system. And once you do trust the system, that's when you start seeing these clients generate, because you're utilizing the tools in the manner that they're designed to be. They're going to move them through that client journey exactly the way they should be.
Yeah. We see this all the time where someone posts an ad on Facebook, one of the ads that you created, and then the person goes, the restaurant owner, whoever it is, they go through and they sign up for the tax management system. They haven't talked to a human. They don't know the advisor, anything. They enter their location data, they get to this page, and they enter their credit card number. We see it all the time. If you think, why would someone do that? It's really simple. It's $300,000. Why wouldn't you do it? This is simple, that you're going to get in there and do that. And then the last step is we give them the ability to book an implementation call. And this is where we're going to go through. Now, I mentioned that the benefit was instantaneous. And I guess I want to talk about that for a minute and have people kind of understand. So Kendra, let's talk.
I think this is the biggest question we get about cost seg, Ryan. Like, how is it possible that they can get instantaneous benefit?
It's very simple once you understand it. And here's the thing, you may not understand it as a partner, but your clients understand it. And it's evident because they sign up all the time. So they get it, they understand it. But let me break it down for you. And this isn't likely anything you'll ever have to pitch a client. I just want you to understand how it works. So let's say you have a hotel and they bought that hotel for $3.9 million. Okay. So they put $3.9 million out. Let me use another example. If I go as a business and I buy this water bottle, it's a business water bottle, and it was $100. Okay. Expensive water bottle. I get to deduct this $100. Okay. So I have income, I have expense. If I made $100 and I spent $100, I had a net income of $0, and therefore I owe no taxes. Okay. Now let's be a hotel. I made $3.9 million. I spent $3.9 million. I had no net income. Therefore, I owe no taxes. Wrong. Okay. Not the way the IRS works. Here's how they work. Oh, you spent 3.9 million? Awesome. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you 1/39th of it for eternity. Okay. For 39 years, which is like eternity to an entrepreneur. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you $100,000 a year. But I spent 3.9 million. Doesn't matter. We're going to give you $100,000 a year. Just for those of you who might not be following, 3.9 million divided by 39 years, $100,000. That means if I've owned the building for 5 years, I've had this grand deduction that I've been able to do of $500,000. And that's it. All the rest of my money is sitting out there in the future. Okay. Now, cost seg is based on 2 key principles that I want you to understand. Principle number 1, cash today is better than cash tomorrow. Okay. If you talk to any entrepreneur, they're going to be on board with this. If you say, would you rather have $1 today or $1.39 years from now? No, whether it be inflation or missed opportunity costs, whatever the case is, they want that money right now. Okay. So cash today is better than cash tomorrow. There's a second principle at play here. Am I, as an entrepreneur, going to do anything for 4 decades? The answer is no. Okay. Am I going to keep this hotel for 40 years? No. And even if I was, like tens of thousands of dollars worth of carpet. Okay. Am I going to keep the carpet for 39 years? That's insanity. No, we're going to remodel. We're going to do things. But the IRS, in all of its infinite wisdom, has decided we're going to give you 1/39th per year. Except the IRS has said, in all of its infinite wisdom, we'll give you another way if you're willing to do a little bit of work. Now, the reason people don't do this work is because it's generally not something they can do. Their contractor can't do it. Their realtor can't do it. And generally, their CPA can't do it. So their CPA takes an accounting method, which is $3.9 million divided by 39. And let's put that, and that's about what they can do. We, again, take an engineering approach. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the building. We're going to look and say, how long should carpet last? Not our opinion. The IRS has a guideline for this. How long do doors last? How long does network wiring last? How long should it be And we take every component of that building and we break it down. We take that 3.9 million and we say, if we were breaking that down, how much of that is Cat 5 wiring? How much of that is cable internet? How much of that is parking lot? How much of that is signage? How much of that is irrigation? How much of that was the pool? How much of that is the support systems that do the pool? We're breaking down all of those components. And then we're saying, hey, the IRS says carpet only lasts 7 years. Let's move that money where it belongs. And when we do that, we create a today cash value. And in this case, on this property, this would be real right off for a calculator. Kendra, we have $288,000. That's on top of the $500 they got. We got them an additional $288,000. So how does that turn into cash today? Well, here's the great thing about cost seg. The moment they decide they're doing it, we know we've got $288,000 coming. Now, those businesses are paying in quarterly taxes. They've already been paying in quarterly taxes. They've been setting money aside for their federal liability. So, Kendra, this is really simple. If I'm a business owner, I know I'm going to owe $400,000 at the end of the year. Okay. First quarter of the year, I put $100,000 in prepaid. Second quarter, I put $100,000 in prepaid. Okay. That's $200,000. Okay. And then I'm getting ready. If we're heading into third quarter, I'm getting ready to do another $100,000. But now I got a $288,000 tax benefit. You know what I can do? The $100,000 I was just about to pay, put it back in my pocket. Instantaneous. That $200,000, maybe I set aside, it's in an account, whatever the case is, I'm clawing that money back. Okay. So even though it's going to take a couple weeks for us to do the paperwork, I got money sitting in an account that I now don't have to pay for the IRS. So that's why it's instantaneous. And Kendra, like you mentioned, they don't have to worry about a client getting this. Clients understand cash.
No, they get it.
Cash tomorrow. Yeah.
Right. They get it. And when they're looking at their bank account, and a lot of people will like have those funds in like a holding account because you can't touch it. No. It's not your money. doesn't belong to you, but it sits there in your bank account so you can look at it. You just can't touch it. And the minute that we're able to tell them what their benefit is and they know that that money belongs to them, it's a relief.
Yeah.
Like it's when you talk to our clients and we're able to show them through their buildings that they can get this offset on their tax liability, whatever the number is, it's always a huge impact.
Yeah.
And being able to see what that can do for them is huge for their business. It's huge.
Yeah. So, the benefit to the client, I think we can kind of see it and understand it. But, Kendra, walk us through exactly what this incentive is and how it benefits the client.
So obviously what we just discussed, that dollar for dollar tax reduction on any tax liability that they would own, that money that they now get to retain and it belongs to them, huge impact. That causes a significant immediate cash flow. Maybe they needed money to do improvements or to, bring on more employees. It's now available. And again, those unused credits can go back 3 years and upwards of 20 years into the future. So they don't lose it if they can't use it that year. So it's always there for them.
So why would a client take instant action on this? It's really simple. You show a client $288,000 in benefit. I mean, even if they're only using, 200 of it this year, they're going to carry a little bit forward, and maybe they're paying us $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 to do that. Guys, this
ROI
is
is there.
A no-brainer. They're moving forward. It's also a no-brainer for you. Instantaneous benefit for the client means quick commission for you. And so, like always, Kendra, you've got a few examples. So
There's a couple here. This first one's a retail facility. Their benefit was $758,000. The commission on that one was $8,800. A couple of small apartment complexes, benefit was $1.3 million. The commission was $21,000. And this grocery store chain in California, $1.6 million, and that commission was $36,000.
Yeah, and this grocery store chain, I mentioned in another training, but they just continue to give us more properties all the time. This apartment complex, we're also going to do property tax abatement. We'll do new cost segs every time they do a new building. This retail location, we're also in there looking, their ERC. They're going to be good for property tax abatement. They're going to be good for all these other services, as well as WOTC. So, this is just what you're making on this one-time one service. And that's where everything ties back to the tax management system. But now I think you see and understand, Kendra, why cost segregation is such a key part to the tax management system and a big benefit to their overall service portfolio.
Indeed. So now we have a great understanding of not only the R&D tax credit, but also cost segregation under our belt. Thank you for that. Yes. Our next step, Ryan, is that question that we keep seeing pop up over there. Everybody's like, all right, I got that.
Yeah, hold on.
Everything works together with TMS. How do I get clients?
Yeah. And, we talked about this actually in the July broadcast where we talked through the toolbox. And Kendra, I hope everybody's been putting that to work. The toolbox is this one place where everything is, and its sole purpose is to help you go get clients. Okay, think about it. There's verbal scripts. That's to help you carry on a dialogue and get clients. There are social templates. There's email templates. There's landing pages. Now, this is something too that Kendra will start to see, like for R&D in specific, there's a manufacturing landing page within the toolbox. Okay, so you can go out there. For cost seg, there's a hotel specific landing page where you can target an industry focus. There's explainer videos. There's so much. And I wasn't able to talk about this last month, but Kendra, again, for cost segregation, so many of the industries that in a minute you're going to, kind of go through in the toolbox, but so many of the industries that you just talked about, we have specialty pages for. And same thing for R&D. You've got custom ads for manufacturers in your social posts. So much that we're able to do. So it was cool last month, but Kendra, this month for these two services, I feel like you've really stacked the deck in the amount of tool set that's available for them.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I know I just want to share the team that creates this content for you for the marketing toolbox. They work really, really hard. And I know I've said that before, but it's not just something that we whip together and throw out there. Like months go into any level of a launch. Like Summer Breeze was several months long on planning and things like that. So I want you to understand it is a work of a labor of love and time. And we really want you to be successful with this. So we put everything that we have into it, all of our resources, all of our consultants, our entire marketing team, to make this available to you. And sometimes I see that you guys end up having favorites in the toolbox. So I wanted to touch on this real quick before we jump in. The toolbox, although some of the stuff like social reaches out to me, I think it's fun, I think it's exciting, so I lean heavier on that when I'm wanting to do marketing, but it's really made to work all together. Like, it's called the toolbox for a reason. When you have a toolbox at home, you don't just have a hammer in it. You have your hammer, you have your screwdriver, you have your saw, you have, all of these different tools that work together to help you build or maintain something. And that's exactly how the toolbox works. So as we get into it, keep that in mind. Although we have our favorites, let's make sure that we use every aspect of it, every tool available to you, and see the success that comes from that. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your step-by-step walkthrough of the marketing toolbox. Everything you need to know to make the impression you want.
Well, Kendra, the first thing I want people to understand, these aren't just a bunch of email templates that we guessed at and threw up there. We have a full marketing department. This is 20 years in the making. Okay. And really the way to think of it is this is like the all-star of all stars. We've got the best email campaigns that have ever performed well. Everything in here has, in our case, open rates of 40, 50%, and click-through rates for our social ads that are, 3 and 4 times industry normal. So, I just want people to understand that every tool in here is already tested, tried, and true. Now, the way you get here is from your portal homepage. And if you don't know how to do that, then reach out to support. But Kendra, this is their marketing toolbox, and It's got their name, their info on it.
Yep. Right down here, you'll see everything in the corner, and it follows you through onto every page, which we'll show you in just a moment. What you're viewing right now is the homepage.
Now, the only thing I want to touch on the homepage, Kendra, if you'd scroll all the way to the bottom for me, there's this part called leveling up your game that you're going to see. And what this is it's exactly that. It's ways to level up your game. So the first one's Quick Start. Quick Start is for brand new people. It's a 4-week program. If the toolbox is a buffet where you walk up and you'd say, I'd like some social and I want to target some restaurants. How do I reach out to CPAs? That's a buffet. Quick Start is the chef's tasting menu. It's just the opposite. It's where you just say, I'd like the chef's choice. And we bring something new every 4 weeks for you, or every week for 4 weeks. So it's things like, here's some industries you want to target. Here's what you say to them. I'd recommend if you're new, that's where you start. Masterclass. This is the opposite of basic. This is the opposite of quick. Okay. These are 4 sessions where we teach you how to build out a social presence, how to go run paid marketing ads on Facebook. And you can do this for just a few bucks. If you want to go out and you want to find all the restaurants in your areas and send a targeted message that we've drafted for you, driving to, say, your appointment calendar or to your custom landing page, this is where you're going to do that. If you want to see email, campaigns with 10 and 15 emails in the series, this is where we're going to teach you how to do that. From there, we have more training. And the last one I want to touch on is the Platinum Insiders Club. This is a free program available to people that have great contacts. If you know manufacturers, commercial property owners, employers, things like that, you might want to go see what Platinum Insider Clubs we're offering right now. We open up enrollment various times of the year. You can apply to be a part of it. It's free. All you have to do is have great contacts, because we're going to give you dedicated access to our team. And because of that, we just want to know that you're going to be able to make use of it. So I wanted to quick touch on that. But Kendra, the real thing we're going to talk about, let's scroll to the top of the page. And Kendra, tell them about the navigation here and how they navigate this page.
Right. So where you're at right now is the homepage that Ryan told you. You can access that from your portal or by reaching out to support. Then your subsequent pages are the verbal and SMS scripts, the email templates, social posts, landing pages, and blog articles. And the first spot we're going to go to is the verbal and SMS scripts. I'm just going to take a look right here. You'll notice that they do tend to look the same. They're all laid out the same so that they have the same consecutive feel and everything's organized in the same format.
So from there, we'll have various scripts. This first one here, This is our main script that we have available. It's kind of like your elevator pitch, so to speak, and you can customize this. It's going to have your link. You could do anything with this. You could say it, you could text it, you could email it. It's just, it's a great script. From there, you're going to see several categories. We've got my SMS script. I say my because I use this all the time to close business. Okay. You can send this, do it back and forth. You're the one in red, and you cut and paste those in, and you're going to close ERC deals with that. We've also got things like voicemail follow-up. We've got, in-person script. We've got phone scripts, and we've got how to get in front of meetings. So all of those things are available. And then Kendra, I love this next section here. You've got rebuttals, because people get so freaked out. Like, I don't want to call because what if they say,
right. So we pulled this in recently, and basically this is just answers to questions you may or may not run into when you're in the field. They're basic responses to redirect the conversation back where you want to, back to get the client back on the journey. And they're pretty basic. They're questions that sometimes partners run into. So I would encourage you to get in here, get familiar with them, kind of use them in some role playing, so that when these questions do come up in your course of speaking to a potential client, you'll have the immediate access to that memory bank and know how to redirect them, get them back on track.
Yeah. Now, if that's not enough, we've got some specialty scripts below that. These are, things like how to reach out to a commercial property owner, or talking to CPAs, getting past gatekeepers, specialty stuff. Okay. I think the core of it at the top is going to get you by, but this is there as well. So that's it for verbal and SMS. Kendra, next up, we have the next way you'd communicate, which we all communicate this way a lot, is emails.
Right. So our email page, get back up here to the top. Our email page, again, looks very similar when you first log in, but the information here is quite different. What's nice is that you're given this kind of intro to get you started and to understand how to utilize and actually cut and paste the scripts below.
Yeah. Kendra, I want to hijack for a minute and talk about this first one for a minute. All the time, partners want to know, how do I introduce myself? And this one right here is it. Now, if you're in premium, you're going to want to use the premium ones. Okay. They'll either have a crown or they'll just say the word premium, because they're going to have integrated video and things like that. But if not, you can use the basic ones. But what this is for positioning yourself. So people want to know all the time, hey, my client knows me as a commercial realtor or as a financial planner. How am I going to tell them about this? And this does that. It positions without taking away your identity. This is where you can say, hey, I'm following up. How did things work out with that commercial property I sold you last year? By the way, because of all the tax credits available, we've opened a new division. And that's the way you explain yourself. Now, Kendra, each of these email templates has their signature line, their phone number, and their website built in. And
right.
if you're using the premium ones, videos.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of them here.
We've got some for any business owner, a business owner follow-up, new contact check-in, contacting a CPA or tax planner, commercial property owners. These ones are important because they're service focused or service specific. Obviously, we're going to promote cost segregation more when we're offering it to a commercial property owner. So both of these emails do that as well. And one thing that I want to point out is you can't actually see the links because they are within this little blue bar. But when you take the time, and I'm going to show you actually how you're going to do this, you're going to highlight it just like this. You're going to right click, you're going to copy, and you're simply going to paste that entire thing over into your email provider. And it's going to grab this beautiful blue bar. And when they click on it, it's going to be your link and lead to the page that we thought would work best for whichever email that it's in.
Yeah. So next up, we have some email templates that integrate video. Now, we don't embed the video. That would be too large. We give links to the video. So here we've got a few service-based ones that focus in and integrate email. But last up is my favorite, Kendra, and that is your beautiful HTML email templates. When I look at this as a partner, I would think I would never know how to create something like this without going and buying a constant contact.
Right. And you don't have to.
List and things like that.
What's nice is the instructions right here are how to use it. It's very simple, and I won't go into that because when you're in here, you can easily access that. I will show them to you though, and they are beautiful. And what you're looking at right now is 3 individual HTML emails One, if you scroll to the bottom, it kind of gives you a description. One is the TMS explainer, one's an ERC explainer, one's more than ERC. And what these are designed for is they're designed for you to get that extra credibility, kind of the flashiness, if you will, that expertise of a professionally designed email. Imagine you get to send this out directly from your own personal email box. And most of us would look at this and say, I don't know how I would ever create an email like that. You don't have to. We've done it for you. All the links within these emails, again, go back to your personalized pages. So when it comes over, it comes directly from you. It's kind of amazing. I'm really excited about it. And these are going to be great to get using.
Yeah. Now, we don't have time to keep going, but if we were to keep scrolling the page, you'd have industry-focused one and service-focused ones, all those kind of things. But Kendra, that's it for email. What I want to move them into now is social. And listen, don't discount social. Don't think I don't have the right contacts for that. You are loaded up with a ton of different stuff. Now, you're going to see some stuff with the little crown. That means premium, okay? And so that's our premium content. There's a lot of standard content. There's premium content. See the little crown there. So Kendra, let's assume we're premium. If so, when you click on it, this is what it's going to look like. And you're going to see premium social templates, which I think most of you are in premium. Now, premium are higher assets. It's integrated video, things like that. But the first ones I want to touch on is, Kendra, they've got their own explainer videos. They can cut and paste these right into Facebook, right into LinkedIn, and show them how to do that.
It's so simple. That's it. You're going to highlight both of these little sentences right here, right click, copy, go over to your social network and paste it. And what that's going to do is that's going to actually pull in the video for you along with the verbiage and the link that you want to direct them to. And it works on both. You're literally highlight, copy, paste, and you're done.
Yeah. Now, the social graphics, these perform very well. This is a graphic with some text. Now, these ones, Kendra, are a little different steps. So let's show them how to do that.
Again, when you're getting the content or the verbiage, you're just going to highlight it, copy and paste it. But the image itself, you're on this page that you see, you're going to right click on the image and you're going to save it to your desktop or a folder, however you choose to do that. And then you're going to go over to your social network and you're literally just going to upload the image that you just downloaded and paste in this verbiage. It's that simple.
Yeah. So we've got ones for employers. We've got ones for commercial property owners, hotels, restaurants. I mean, Kendra, show them all of these different assets that are there. This is just beautiful. Restaurants, retail, so many different ones. And of course,
I guess honestly say that you have enough assets here to keep you busy for several months if you're posting on a regular basis.
Now you're going to see peppered throughout. And if you scroll to the bottom of this page, Kendra, as an example, if you want to put these to work, you can go get in masterclass. Okay. This is where we're going to take you through. And we're going to teach you all of these different assets. But if you don't want to do that, you can just cut and paste and use these the way they are. So that is social. Next up, we have our pages.
Landing pages. This is fun because of the number of landing pages that we have and how you get to use them.
Yeah, so everyone has a general landing page. You've probably seen this 1,000 times. It's got a calculator. It's got the ability for a client to sign up. It's got a great value proposition. But beyond that, we have so many other landing pages. We have video-based ones. We have service-based ones. We have industry-targeted ones. Okay, the thing I want you to understand, general is a great approach for everyone else, okay? But if you can be specific, you're going to land with a lot more. I mean, you think about something like fishing, which I know almost nothing about, but here's what I do know. I know if you want to catch a certain kind of fish, I've been out deep sea fishing before. They put a certain kind of bait on that fish, okay? Because that's what's going to attract. And that's really the same thing that we see with specialty messaging. So if I go and I say tax credits for employers, okay, that might get some attention. But listen, if I go through and I show some videos that target a specific message, like there's a tax credit for that, or the ERC tax credit, now all of a sudden, Kendra, I'm piquing more interest on these pages.
Right. And the further you can drill in, the more interest is generated, or the quicker you can generate interest. So we actually have all the different pages for services, WOTC, we have the ERC explainer with and without the videos, R&D, cost seg, tax management. And then additionally, when you scroll down even further, we have
these ones.
industry.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. Did you want to take a quick look at one of these?
Yeah, let's take a look. And which one are you going to do?
Manufacturing.
Okay.
So what I love about this page is that they can actually navigate through the page up here, just like it's its own individual platform, which is amazing. Like you have a page that a client can navigate through at your fingertips that's specific for their industry. What I love is that the imagery and verbiage we use throughout is specific to the manufacturing industry. They're put in a certain order specifically because we know that's what's going to generate the highest interest. Everything we've used here, even explaining the system, the video that we use here, taking them through each step, a case study, then we actually explain and kind of wrap up with why they should be going after these tax credits. This page works so well, and it's designed for multiple different industries that we already have ready for you to get using.
Yeah, and every call to action points to you. It might go over to your blog, which I'll show you next. You didn't even know you had one. It might go over to one of your other landing pages. It might go to your calculator page, but everything is encompassed to you and going to lead back to you. So that's pages. Kendra, what I love is when you can pair specific messaging in a social ad and specific messaging in an email, driving to a specific page. I mean, this is where we're going to see high conversion. Last up, blogs and press releases. Did you know you had press releases? Did you know you had a blog? Kendra, let's take a look at that first one. This is their press release. If you've never posted this, listen, start here. Okay. This is dynamic. So this one says Michigan because I'm in Michigan. Okay. So Michigan businesses finally get much needed relief. And here's the cool part. Kendra, I see my name.
Yep.
I see my phone number, my email address,
yes.
all my
It's
information.
Pull in your state, your name, your state again, and then it's going to reference you again here at the bottom where it pulls in how to contact you right here. And then this is your calculator. It takes them out directly to your landing page. It's going to be able to process them and get them in as a tax management system client. What's even nicer is you can share from right within the blog. We've got these great icons here for Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or you can simply go up here to the URL and copy and paste this anywhere you'd like to share this article. And this is just one of many that's ready and at your disposal right now.
Yeah. So Kendra, that's the toolbox as a whole. I think last up, there's this little help button. So if that doesn't answer,
this is my favorite part. So this is an amazing tool set. And I think that we've really laid it out well. It's organized, it's easy to access and self-explanatory. But when you do run into a question, see this little help button down here in the right-hand corner, just click on that. You can search for anything that you'd like, and it's going to bring up lots of little different articles for you. Or if that didn't suffice and that didn't answer your question, simply click contact us, fill this out and send. Now, I do want to give you a little secret. The support requests that come in via this specific form get elevated, and they're actually answered quicker than any other way that they come in. And there's a reason for that. It's because we know you're in and you're currently utilizing the system. So we want to hurry up and get you support to keep you moving. So little tip, if you want quick access, quick support, go in there and use this little help button right here.
Yeah. So that is it. That is your marketing toolbox. Again, you can find that in the portal or reach out to support and they'll help you find your personalized toolbox. Kendra, this changes all the time.
It does. We're constantly adding, changing, twisting things up and giving you new items all the time. Make sure to use your specific and only your specific marketing toolbox, because every single link leads back to your pages, your blog articles, your social posts. Everything is yours. So make sure you're always logged in correctly. You can check that by seeing your information down here in the left-hand corner as well.
Well, that's the marketing toolbox. It does not work unless you put it to work. So that's my big challenge for you is get to work cutting and pasting. Okay, that sounds bad. Get to work cutting and pasting. But that's exactly what we mean. Get to work cutting and pasting. So I like that. It doesn't work unless you put it to work.
So, it's our new logo. That was a great breakdown of the marketing toolbox. We should all be very excited to get in and start using some of those new aspects. Now,
no one can email support and say, how do I get clients?
no,
Because everybody
they will
better
help
know how to
you
get
if
clients.
you do, but I think you guys
They will send you a link to the toolbox training video.
Exactly. Now, there's been a lot of questions, Ryan, about where we're at and how everything has been going with Summer Breeze and Platinum Insiders. And I just want to let you know, I am so happy with the level of activity that the Platinum Insiders Club has generated. That's super
Honestly,
exciting.
you were so I'm gonna tell you were so nervous going into summer. You were like, I remember. So Kendra actually said, as she started to piece together the marketing materials for this, she said, "Are you sure you don't want to launch this in the fall? Are they going to use it?"
Because it was two totally different directions that we were going down, which to me, I mean, I'm going to be honest, in my mind, I'm like, that's double the work. Like that's a lot of work on my team and on myself. So I thought, are we sure we want to do this? Don't you want to maybe hold this back, the Platinum, because it's going to be amazing. And
now I have these, so I have these weekly meetings with our marketing department, with our accounting processing team, things like that. And I take them in a specific order. So it's basically the same order that our client journey goes in. So, I was meeting last week with the marketing department and I was looking over stats on what was going on. And last month, I challenged you to send emails. Okay. Now I got to tell you, we can tell when someone's coming off of, Hotmail server, Gmail server, things like that. We can see it's called link referral. So we know the difference between when you took your iPad out there or when someone came from Facebook or when someone did that. What I'm excited about, Kendra, is they blew it up. Okay. And the way they're blowing it up is they're taking the emails that are in the toolbox. They're taking the emails that are in Summer Breeze. And I know you're sending them. And the reason I know you're sending them is because we can see the referral codes coming over to our website. So meeting with marketing, I see that. And then the exciting part there is, Kendra, then I went and we had our meeting with accounting processing. And what I was really excited to see is that these new clients coming in, they're not just hitting TMS and then being done. They're doing services. They're actually getting set up for ERC. And they're getting their documents in and they're getting set up. And we've had so many self-enrollments for cost seg. And, we talked about that earlier, but I'm telling you, I already see it. Clients come in, Kendra, they're hitting that setup wizard and they just buy cost seg. It happens magically. I say magically, but your team has put so much work into this.
Well, not only us, it means that you as partners are out there using the tools. We can't be successful if you don't use the tools. That's just what it boils down to. It doesn't matter how good the email template is if you're not out there using it. It doesn't matter how good the social template is if you're not out there using it, or the script, or any of the tools in the toolbox. So thank you for having faith in us.
She was worried you guys were going to take summer off. And I said, give them something easy to do. And that was my challenge to her. Give them some that's a half hour a week to do.
Yeah.
You guys have went out there and done that half hour plus some. You are killing it. And I got to tell you, this is important timing. Here's why. Kendra, we're coming into fall right now. Okay. It may not seem like it because, it's only the beginning of August right now. And you think business owners are still on vacation, but we are doing something massive in the fall, massive outreach. You'll be able to participate. I don't want to give away too much, but we will be announcing it coming up on the next broadcast. But listen, here's what it's going to center around. You're going to need to be comfortable sending those emails. You're going to need to be comfortable doing those social posts because we're going to do something really, really large. But in the meantime, what you need to do is you need to keep doing what you've been doing because it's working so well. Now, I do want to say, Kendra, I'm not just hyping them. I'm not just saying, hey, we're doing something large. We've never done this before. We're really excited to launch it. And you're going to want to be a part of that. And most importantly, it's going to help you go get a lot of clients. But in order to do that, they got to stay relevant,
Exactly. So obviously we have to give you more work and we're going to cover your action plan. And as that said, opportunities, can you go back one, Ryan, real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Opportunities don't happen. You create them. So as much as we want to give you tools and everything, we need you. You're the missing piece. So I'm going to do easy. Ryan's going to do hard. I like this. We did it last month this way too. I like being the easy person. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to mark your calendar for the September broadcast. Here it is. It is going to be Monday, September 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern, as always. And second, you're going to subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. And
Ooh, this one's crucial this month, Kendra.
Yes.
Oh, we always say it, but for what's coming in September, you have it's literally like you have to be.
Yes. I gave a little leak on this last month, but if you're not following on Facebook and subscribe to the YouTube channel, you're going to miss out on most of what we're going to do this fall. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. It takes a second to get in there, click, and you're done. And Ryan, you get to do the hard stuff now.
I do. Okay. So from there, what I want you to do is a couple of things. This is going to take more than a half hour, but you've got to do it. You got to get to work. The first thing I want you to do, I want you to make a list of businesses that would be a good candidate for cost seg and R&D. Now, Kendra might be thinking, how would I know who'd be? Well, if you're paying attention, you just saw a few minutes ago who's a
go
good
back
candidate.
And watch it.
Yeah, I want you to think through this. And you saw that list. Go rewatch it directly after this. What I want you to do, old school, pen and paper, okay? For me, it's tablet and Apple Pencil, but same thing. Pen and paper. I want you to get out, and I want you to, as you're watching that part, or right now after this broadcast, I want you to jot down some names of either people you know or local businesses in your area that would be a good candidate for that. So I want you to start by making a list of businesses that you know would be a good candidate for cost seg and R&D. Now, Kendra, you showed just in the toolbox video those emails.
Yeah.
They are killer.
We have individual emails for both of those services, and we have some specific tools for the industries that are high qualifiers for both of those services.
I love, you've got your manufacturing page that we saw. You've got your manufacturing specific emails that we've seen. You've got manufacturing specific social posts. Mm-hmm. So then what I want you to do is I want you to use the appropriate email template, and I want you to send individual emails to all the people on that handwritten list that you did. Now,
you're
this is the one, Kendra,
with a voicemail, not a void mail. See my typo there? Yeah. You're going to follow up with a voicemail or SMS. Okay.
You're going to find the script in the toolbox. Okay. It's under verbal scripts and SMS scripts, and follow up with them and, stay on them. Okay. This is the part that people don't want to do. And I understand it, but Kendra, you and I know that when you send an email, you're going to have so much response. It's not much, by the way. If you send a series of emails over and over again, you drive it up. If you send an email and then you pick up your phone, you text that person. Hey, bro, just sent you an email. Check it out when you get a chance. Forward it on to so-and-so in your office, if you're not the person to handle that. I know we're up against tax deadlines. Here's some words you get to add to the toolbox. We don't change the toolbox for this, but we are up against tax deadlines. Add that somewhere in every email, every social post, every text you send, every verbal script you say. We're up against tax deadlines. So that's what you do again. You email and then pick up your phone. Okay, listen, they're not going to answer anyways, so don't get all freaked out about it. Go like this, okay, and leave them a voicemail. And it's really simple. It sounds like this. Mike, Ryan Maddock here, just sent you over an email. Listen, I know you're super busy. So am I with tax deadlines coming up. Listen, check out that email that I sent you. And if that's not you, forward it over to whoever in your office staff can handle it. Want to make sure you guys get taken care of before tax deadlines hit. That's it.
Boom.
Kendra, when they do that, they're driving their activity through the roof.
Exponential.
Okay. I think I had one more, and that is post socially. Kendra, talk about this. I hammer them. They need to do this.
Right. It's my favorite. So I don't have a problem making sure our marketing department is encouraging this. So posting socially. So if you get out there and you're all gung-ho and for 3 weeks, you're post, you're building. People are recognizing your brand. They're recognizing what you're talking about. They're becoming familiar with it. It takes a lot of touches, even visually on social, for someone to get drawn in. So you're building, which is exactly what you want to do. You take a week off, it's back to flatline, you guys.
For a second. You're also building, listen, you know how a friend, before they really trust you, they want to see consistency out of you. You know what I mean? Or, if you're out there, if you got a baby daddy, you want to see baby daddy come around quite a bit before, you really trust them, right? So Facebook is like that too. Mark Zuckerberg is sitting there and he's like, I don't know. I mean, should we trust him? Like, and the more you post and the more people like thumbs up it or whatever, Mark's like, all right, this dude's pretty legit.
Yeah.
Let's put his stuff higher on the list. Okay.
Yep.
In its simplest term, we could pull Zoe on, we could pull some of our other marketing team. They could explain algorithms to you, which we've done in the master class.
Yeah.
But listen, that's what it does. Mark is sitting back right now and he's like, I don't know about this dude. Seems kind of shady. Yesterday he posted a picture of his motorcycle. Now he wants me to buy ERC from him. Okay. You got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to do the motorcycle picks. You got to do the muscle T picks. Those are cool. Okay. Don't stop doing those. But also, Kendra, like twice, isn't that what you asked for? Twice a week.
Just twice a week. Twice
That's
a
it.
week will maintain your consistency. Do more. And you can go back and post, mix them up, repost some that you've posted in the past. Nobody cares. It just
Post the explainer
maintains.
videos. Mark loves video.
Right.
Okay. Talking about Mark Zuckerberg, just in case somebody doesn't know. Mark loves video. So post our explainer videos on your page. That's going to drive. Mark's going to be like, this dude's super legit. Did you see he did a video today? He's gonna be like, yeah, I did see he did a video. Last week he did a graphic. I know that graphic was great. Let's post him to higher on the algorithm. Okay. That's what's going on in the background. Now, here's why this is important. In September, we're doing something really big, but here's the thing. Mark's got to love you for it to work. I don't know a better way to say that. Okay. Or Mark's got to love you for it to really work. We're going to give you something massive to post on Facebook. But if you haven't been posting on Facebook and LinkedIn, you haven't been using your email, you haven't been out there communicating, then
It's gonna be
you're
a
like
little more
the deadbeat
difficult.
dad that comes around middle of summer and is like, hey, I wanted to see if I can, take my kid out to the playground. And Mark's like, I don't know. Should we let him? I don't know. Let's put him on page 7 and see how he does. Okay. I don't know an easier way. If you're like, well, no one's going to read it. I don't have any people. I don't care. Post twice a week.
Yeah.
Get some love from Mark. And then in September, I'm telling you, it's going to pay off. But am I being clear enough here, Kendra?
I think so.
How do I get a baby dad?
The baby
Anyway.
daddy analogy took it down a whole nother,
It did. Okay. But listen,
I think
Mark,
we got it.
Mark don't trust you yet. And you need Mark to trust you because in September, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to want to be a part of this. You're going to post it. Man, it's hard not to give it away. But I'll tell you what, if you want to know what I'm talking about, decent segue here, Kendra, shameless plug here.
So again, you're going to go ahead and join us on Monday, September 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern, and you'll get to learn all about what Ryan is so difficultly not trying to tell you guys today.
Baby daddies, apparently. No, not at all. Just
thank you, everyone. You have been amazing today. And this concludes our series on mastering your services. And I think you all have gained a great understanding. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. Just one last thing, in case like everything got lost while I'm talking about September, I just want to like refocus you on make a list of businesses for cost seg and R&D. Use an email template. Okay. Follow up voicemail. Voicemail is pretty good because a lot of people don't.
That's why this spell check didn't catch it.
And then post socially twice a week. We focused so much on that last one. I want to remind you, remember I was talking about the stats last month and it was true again this month. The email is what's working. Okay. Yeah. You need to social for a different reason that hopefully I'm alluding to enough, but the email is what's getting clients today. So in all that conversation, Kendra, I didn't want people to forget or miss out on that part. Make your list of businesses, email. That's going to get your clients today. What's going to get your clients tomorrow is social post. So, thank you everybody again. Didn't mean to backtrack there, but Kendra, one more time, where do they need to be on September 11th?
They need to be with us on Facebook or YouTube watching at September 11th, Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we will see you all then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.